news is brought to you by the National Bank of the Virgin Islands, Cyril B. Ramney Tertola Pier Park, NV Salon, Spa, Nail and Barbershops, the Wellness Center, Medical and Behavioral Health Clinics, Tissely Cross, Deliciously Smooth Cider, HOV Medical, and Digicel. Sign up for Digicel Plus Home Light Bundles, faster internet, movies and sports.
It really has to be a cultural shift.
A cultural shift where two things marry: waste management and agriculture.
That composting piece is a critical piece, because again, if you're going to be keeping garbage over time, you could freeze it. Some people freeze it, that's an option. But also too, if you're composting, and whether it's individual composting or community composting, those are key pieces. How can we reduce the waste? And I believe in this school term at Capoons Bay, we will begin our community composting project down there. And hopefully it will be not only that single point, but there will be other points in the community where people, right now I have somebody calling me, they heard about it, were excited, and now their freezer full of garbage, and well, when they're going to start, right? Because it's critical, as you said. How can the output of one area can be the input for something else? And that's the key mindset and the key idea that we're going to have as far as waste management is concerned. And it really has to be a cultural shift.
On the side of waste management, residents were very articulate, recommending measures like door-to-door garbage collection with a fee attached, of course, among others. But Dawson noted several cautions.
We're here tonight, but we must be thinking over a period of time. There's certain things going to be done immediately, then certain things going to take time. We're going to have to plan, for instance, the people who have invested in garbage trucks. As we start to phase them out, we have to have the plan as to say, well, there's a point where we're now going to not be importing any more of these because we're shifting, but we're not going to be putting a burden on them to say they're stuck with something that is, that they invest a lot of money in. We're going to have to take a hold of the community. Right now, as you say, you're not paying to dispose. And as you said, people using every vacant lot as a dump, right? And if now you have to pay, imagine. So we're going to have to take control of our community, whether it is going to be investment in CCTV cameras or so to help the monitoring. But what I'm seeing here, this is the same thing what we're doing in the West. That it must be that the community has to have a very, very, very important stake in it in order for any of this to work. We can't have enough police to do all of these things. No, we have to have people influencing their neighbors. And that's why we love what is happening in the schools, because the school children, they are the best to influence the home. Once they see something practicing in the school, they go home and say, Mommy, no, that's not how we do it, and that's how it will turn and turn and turn. So
this was on September 26 when the Junior Minister for Agriculture and Fisheries, Dr. the Honorable Carl Dawson, attended Honorable Marlon A. Penn's District 8 meeting held at the Francis Lettsome Primary School. Dawson was confronted on the age-old issue of water supply, especially for farmers at Parakeet Bay.
I don't know. This comment might not be appreciated, but I would say if it was so simple, it would have been done long and long ago. Some of the same issues that you talk about, that he talked about with respect to pressure and pipes, or some of the impeding things, and I think there's a greater understanding now of what needs to be done in order to help the water situation. The need and they've tried this before to some extent, that each farm has to have storage so that water is going to the storage rather than going directly to the crops. Now, some persons have had that in place, and we will be looking at that, because it's not just going to be a matter of trying to get a storage system in place, but it's going to be a matter of looking at the distribution network. So at the end of the day, every farmer, whether at low elevation or at higher elevation, can get the water that they require.
Now, what's being done to address other issues of concern at Parakeet Bay?
But one of the key things that we're doing now, there has been a committee that has been in place, and their report is now coming to us with respect to that's going to not only look at some of those situations you mentioned, but even trying to regularize who's on what plat in terms of making sure that leases are in place, and also ensuring to say that if you're going to be a part of, a lot of people don't have any formal arrangements for being on the plots that they have at Paraquita Bay. So that must be regularized, because even so, right now it's causing problems between farmers because no one has anything to say what right they have to be on a particular spot. So that's something that we have to deal with, and when we do this, it'll put us in a better position to look at the whole operation of Paraquita Bay as a system. A part of it, of course, has to be the regular supply of water, but also has to look at what people are producing relates to what other persons are producing in the space.
With this JTV News Update, Kathy Richards.
We know that where you choose to bank matters, and it is your vote on what your funds do in strengthening our community. As your official Bank of Paradise, we invest and support the lifeblood of our economy by helping in the realization of personal goals for homeownership, education, and entrepreneurial visions, which support small businesses. We make it our place to connect with persons and worthy causes, and we have been doing so for more than 30 years. Where your money goes and what your dollars empower are your choice. And we thank you for choosing us, a bank that gives where it matters the most, for you, for our community, and a happier tomorrow. The National Bank of the Virgin Islands.
Everyone looks to the future, but no one truly knows what the future holds.
The number of people under the age of 20 with type 2 diabetes could increase by 49% by 2050. Let it be known that we all have a 30% chance of developing hypertension.
Globally, more than 300 million people of all ages suffer from depression.
More than 60,000 young adults aged 20 to 39 are diagnosed with cancer each year. Obesity leads to problems such as stroke, heart disease, and kidney failure.
No matter your race, age, or color, we are all at risk.
These diseases can be managed or prevented if caught early.
But with the right medicine and the right doctors to keep us on a path to live a robust and healthy life,
we will live well.